The video games industry is one of the most innovative and fastest growing industries in the world. The men and women of this industry work tirelessly to provide entertainment for the masses, and some of these provide the music that we love, music that we listen to when we're enjoying ourselves playing those video games, music that we love, music that we listen to when we're enjoying ourselves listening to video games. Do we even know who these people are? No. Would video games be the same without them? No. What you're about to hear?
Good evening and welcome everyone to another episode of the Average Giants Indie Showcase.
Yeah, what a wonderful day it is.
I'm one of your hosts, the Average Gamer, and sitting beside me is some guy.
I'm DJ French Toast, but you can call me Giant.
Did they call you that because you lather yourself in eggs and milk? That's nasty.
I just felt that I could just, with this awesome jacket that I have, I could look kind of like a really weird looking DJ.
Yeah, we're an indie game channel, right?
No, what?
Yeah.
What is it?
That's not really indie game. Blizzard is not exactly what we would consider.
They are the smallest. I'm sorry, I'm wearing a DC shirt underneath, so that doesn't really help either. What are you wearing, huh?
Batman?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's what I thought.
I know.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Batman video games. No.
Talk about the Batman video game?
No, this is not Sunday's podcast. I don't think that would be a good idea.
The only Batman game I ever saw was from the Sega CD.
Which one?
I think it was half like a racing game and half side-scroll fighting game.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I barely remember.
That's crazy.
So, how's you doing?
Good, man.
That's
Super
good.
crazy. Funtown, USA times.
This party in USA. We're going Miley Cyrus on this one.
Yep.
Before she went crazy. So, today's going to be a very interesting day.
Yeah, how come?
Well, first of all, we have ourselves a game that we haven't seen in a long time and had a very interesting situation that we'll be talking about during the show. And it's Two Awesome Studio and Dimension Drive. And then the next developer is Nascent Games. And the neat thing about them is that we will be focusing on one of their games that's actually currently on Newgrounds.
Oh.
So that's very different for us. I mean, it shouldn't be. It's sort of like the origination
Very
of
different.
indie gaming there, if you want to put it that way, because I did. That's what I did.
Yeah, okay.
I dropped that bomb right here.
Go,
right now.
go for it, man.
Right on.
Yeah, be my guest. Be my guest. Okay, well, why don't we get started?
Why don't we get started?
Why don't we get started? Let's get them in the call.
Let DJ French Toast drop some sick beats. No,
I'm so sorry for that.
there's-
That'll never happen again.
don't worry, it's non-copyright. So see, that's why I did that, because we won't get.
Oh, looks like they just shut down our stream.
What?
Oh,
Scared me for a second.
I got you
Well,
so
not
good.
for copyright. It's like we shut down our stream for what?
Oh,
Updates?
that is some funny shit. So we have joining with us David and Alejandro from Two Awesome Studios. How's it going, guys?
Hello, can you hear us?
Yep,
Yep.
can hear you great.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hi guys.
How's it going tonight?
It's going good. Well, it's pretty late actually here. It's about 3 a.m. in Europe. So.
Oh my gosh.
Oh goodness. Well, we thank you even more for being here then.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Jeez.
Kind of a late night show for us today.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't even think about that. Usually when we have European developers, they'll mention that it's late. I think you're the first group ever that didn't actually care. So we thank you very much for being a part of the show.
Oh, right.
Guys.
Let me fix the audio here.
We're just going to fix some audio really quick. So that
Good old
everybody else can
Skype
hear.
turning everything down.
Yeah, good old Skype knowing exactly how to screw everything up.
Yep. All right. There, now everybody should be able to hear you just fine. There we go. All right, so before we really get into the game, would you guys mind giving us a quick synopsis of what Dimension Drive is?
Yeah, sure. So, in a nutshell, Dimension Drive is a comic book style shoot 'em up that features a unique teleportation mechanic across a dual battlefield. So basically, you get to play 2 games at the same time in a smart shooter. That's more or less what it is. And so when you start playing, you'll see that. I mean, you obviously have played before, so you have an idea. But
Yes.
For viewers that have not seen it, it's what we do is we split this the screen in 2. So we have this double battlefield where you are fighting 2 shoot 'em ups side by side, and at any point you can teleport from one to the other. So with that, we start doing all kinds of weird stuff that you would normally not do in in a game with a single screen, and so that's the interesting twist of our game, I would say. Plus, obviously, all this comic aesthetic that we want to give it, and all this story behind it.
Yeah.
One thing
You
about
can-
the game. Sorry.
I was going to say you can see how much it's changed.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't touched this. Well, not touched. We haven't talked to you since there was only the first level, I think it was.
Yeah, we had like 2 levels to play
Yeah.
last time.
Oh yeah, we had the first level, and the second level with the boss, and that was it.
This looks so good. Oh, nice.
So seeing how much it's changed is really, really amazing. Also, you are only one of, I think, 2 shmups we've ever had on our show.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I wanted to chat about that later, but go ahead, guys. Sorry.
No, I was just mentioning that. So.
Well, I'm not surprised. Shoot 'em ups are not a really common genre, I would say. It was kind of popular in the 80s and 90s, but then sort of it was not getting so much mainstream audience. So that's also another gamble that we were taking, trying an old formula and
Why
trying
do you
to
think
come up
they
with
have-
something new that we can revitalize it.
Why do you think the shmups have kind of fallen to the wayside? Because, like, this is fun. It looks amazing. It's super fun. And I don't know why games like this have kind of not been as popular of late.
Well, I guess what happened is that shoot 'em ups started to go in the direction of the only way that they saw how to improve was to become harder and harder. So they kind of become a kind of, I would say, a pseudo-professional niche where shoot 'em up players are really dedicated fans, but games became, I would say, almost inaccessible to the newcomers. I mean, you have to play a lot to be able to actually start playing in a standard shoot 'em up. That if you take any of these Japanese bullet hells, you will have one hell of a time to try to play that without dying. So.
Yeah.
I was about to say that, yeah, most of the time, the only time you ever really see shoot 'em ups is in that come straight out of Japan,
Japan.
and they are so ridiculously difficult
Yeah.
that, like, you'll look at them and it'll be just a big, like, pile of bullets, and you'll just have to, like, squeak between them if you want to actually make it anywhere. So,
Yeah, bullet hell.
Yeah, the Wonders of Bullet Hell and Black Midi go hand in hand.
So we wanted to make our game approachable to newcomers to the genre. So you can see that at the beginning, especially first levels in the game are not that hard and are meant to sort of teach how to play this kind of games. Obviously, when you start reaching later levels, it will become more and more difficult. But we don't want to resort to this idea of, here, let's have a wall of bullets and see what you do with it, because that's been done everywhere else. So we wanted to create difficulty by using these new mechanics that we have in the game, like like having enemies that attack you on the two sides, and that attacks that can only be dodged by teleporting and teleporting back in and things like that. So that's what we are kind of going for here.
Cool. Yeah, I think we found the only two of the most interesting, unique shmups on our show. With you guys, where you split the screens and you can jump between dimensions, and the other one went from top down to side and was sort of a music. It went to the side of music. So yeah, I can't remember that either. But
So I know you guys have made this in Unity, like for the actual engine of the game. What was the reasoning behind there? Is that just something that like was more native for the shmup?
Not really. Maybe I could defer this one to Alejandro. He's more technical guy in our team.
Well, there is actually not a technical reason. You remember, David, we started this developing for Xbox Live in the arcade. And while we were starting the game or developing the game, Microsoft discontinued this kind of engine, and we were with our prototype started and nothing to continue, or let's say if we continue developing in that engine, it was going to die soon. So there was no point to continue there. So we look around, and back in the time, I think this was the only one, the only engine that we have available. More or less for 3D, and this was 2013, David. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, we had other options like UDK, so the Unreal Development Kit, but back then you didn't have an Unreal Engine available for free like you have now, and UDK was kind of it was kind of almost like black magic. I started playing with it. It was sort of undocumented, and it was more hacking together a game rather than having a solid engine that you could play with.
Interesting.
And you had other options in 2D, for example. Game Maker was there, obviously, and
Cocos, 2D.
Yes.
Some other 2D engines.
But Unity seemed like the good choice in the
Right
sense that it was flexible, and it allows to develop for all the
Platform with respect to the
platforms. Yes, Windows, Mac, and Linux.
Yes.
Oh, that is Vera. Yeah, I thought that was Vera.
Yeah. So I don't know what she's doing around. I mean, it's also 3 a.m. for her.
Yeah.
It's quite late. It's quite late.
I haven't seen her in a while. I hope it's going well, Vera.
That's nice. That's commitment.
Yeah.
So, do you think it's worth spending the time to talk about what happened?
So, yeah, I know one of the things that probably you guys have had every news outlet ask about is you had a pretty famous Kickstarter. Do you mind going into detail? Yeah.
Yeah, infamous. Yeah.
Infamous, more like, yes. Do you guys mind going into detail about what happened with that?
Yeah. Well, as most of people may know, we did 2 Kickstarters back to back over the course of almost 60 days non-stop, and that was not just because we are kind of masochists, but our intention was to do only one, so we started our Kickstarter. We were doing kind of fine, and by the end of it, we did quite good. I mean, we reached around 80% of our funding. So we were close, but not enough to make it. And then it was our last day, so we decided to pull through and continue. And what the heck, let's go for it, and at least have fun the rest of the other days with all the people that was following us and whatnot, right? Instead of just canceling it, we said, okay, maybe we are lucky, and in the last days we have some sort of rush.
You never know.
You never know. This sort of actually happened. So we had a bit of a rush, and people start to pledge more to our Kickstarter. So we were getting closer, but still in the last hours when we were doing all of this live actually here in Twitch in a stream, and somebody just pledged a huge amount of money. I think it was like $7,000.
Wow.
Around that, and all of a sudden we were funded. I mean, and we couldn't believe it. We were partying. We were everything. Everybody went nuts. You can imagine. I mean, you are live streaming the end of your Kickstarter. You are barely there. You think you are not gonna make it, and most probably you are not gonna make it. And then all of a sudden, somebody magically throws in a lot of cash to your Kickstarter, and you are funded.
Boom.
Boom. So
Exactly. Boom.
Yeah. that was fun. That was kind of amazing, and but then you start to think about it, and you start to wonder, would this be real? What's really happening here? And Alejandro, I think you were not totally convinced. And you were at that moment in life. I think you were, because I've seen it afterwards as we have it recorded, and I think you were not totally convinced that this was actually real, and it was not in the end. It was kind of like 30 minutes before our closing of Kickstarter. Then we received an email from Kickstarter staff informing us that this was in fact a fake donation, a fake pledge, and that
well, they use the word fraudulent.
They used the word fraudulent. It was not. They used the word fraudulent, and that they had to remove this pledge, and we went from funded to unfunded. 30 minutes before our end of Kickstarter, there was no margin, nothing we could do, and so we failed our Kickstarter campaign like that.
Wow.
So it was kind of a hard thing to happen to us.
I can only assume, like, it must have been very tense around the office after that, because, like, you were probably pretty set in going, oh, we're going to be close, but we're not going to make it. And then this miraculous kind of backer comes in and takes that in a completely different direction. But yeah, that's really harsh.
Yeah,
you can imagine, no? It had been a really tough month for us. It was really exhausting. It was, I think, around 12 or 1 a.m. here in the morning. Something like today. We finished around 3 a.m. I think, David.
Jeez.
And we were tired. It was late, and then suddenly all that roller coaster, And when we closed the stream, it was quite devastating at the moment. But as David said, we couldn't do anything at that point, so we just say goodbye to our backers there, because people were asking, what are you gonna do, guys? And we say, I don't know, tomorrow will be another day.
Yeah, it's a little early.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the fraudulent post, did they find out who was, or was that like fake email, fake everything?
Well, Kickstarter, you're allowed to pull your backing, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's why Kickstarter has actually changed their policies because of this campaign, and that now, if you pledge, like if you have pledged, and there is less than 48 hours left, you can't pull your pledge out.
Okay.
So yeah, once there is the 2-day mark is when you're allowed to pull the pledge out, kind of thing. Right now.
Yeah, it just. Yeah. I would like to just know what was going on in the person's mind to do that. Like, I know we'll never know, but
I don't know. I mean, what we know is that after that happened, the next day we got communication with Kickstarter staff. They called us the day after in the evening, and we were chatting about this. And so apparently the guy had been doing this not only with our Kickstarter, but he went like on a fake pledge spree, I would say. He did our pledge, and then he started pledging like $500 here, $1,000 there, and so he did this massively across many other Kickstarters at the same time.
Yeah.
For us, it was obviously the worst because he did it in the last moment and he gave a huge amount of of fake or fraudulent money just to
more than
to play with us.
The quantity, I think it was
the moment.
It was exactly the money we were missing.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah. So I don't know if the guy was doing this just for kicks or it's just maybe it's just a teenager playing with the credit card of their uncle and they caught him or something, or he stole grandma's grandma's wallet and then he went on to Kickstarter to do all of this.
Yeah.
If you
Pretty
cancel
crazy.
your pledge, does it still show up as a contribution?
It shows
yes.
up. Yeah.
It shows cancel, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he didn't cancel. It was Kickstarter that canceled that pledge because they saw that there was something not right
weird
with
with that.
Yeah.
So following that was good news and bad news because I believe they allowed you guys to redo your campaign, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I mean, the policy is that they cannot extend a campaign. So that was when this happened to us. It sort of went viral, as you know. Everybody started talking about this, and people were saying, "Please give them an extension, give them an extension." And what I mean, okay, but it's kind of impossible for them. This is something that they could not do, but what they could do is help us to relaunch again, and that's what they did. They asked us to relaunch again immediately, and we decided this was a Thursday, if I remember correctly, and we decided to at least take the weekend off because it was too much,
Yeah.
as you can imagine. And but yeah, that's in the end. Also, we were not sure even if we wanted to relaunch because we were too tired. I mean, having done this was kind of extreme. So, but yeah, all this massive support from people we didn't know all over the internet, sending us tweets, sending us emails, comments on our YouTube page, everybody asking, please do it again. I didn't know about this game before. Now I know, and I would like to pledge if you relaunch. So this made a change our mind, and that's what we did. Come on.
The hours were passing by. We're changing our mind. So we started. Well, at least that was my case. I say no. I cannot go through that. I can't go through that again. But because for us it's especially extreme because we have another full-time job besides the studio. So it was kind of extreme for us. And as David said, that was on a Thursday, and with all the support we were receiving, I don't know, maybe Saturday we changed our mind, something like that. Because at first, well, I was not quite in favor to doing it, to be honest.
Me neither. I mean, it's you can imagine. It's I would say it's almost like I would compare it to you cross the desert and when you arrive to the other side, they tell you, hey, you know what? You forgot your bottle of water on the other side. Can you come back and fetch it? And it's like, hell no.
No, I'm good.
I'm not
gonna lay down here.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I'm glad that you guys forge ahead. I think all of the internet is glad that you guys forge ahead for sure, because the game is doing really well since you've been last on the show.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I mean, that's the positive side of it. I mean, community sort of saved this project because it was not just funded at that moment. It was new fuel for us in the sense that this was pretty devastating. So having all this amount of people asking, come again and please make this game was some kind of validation for us. That's good. That's helped us push through.
Yeah, I remember seeing the one article that I read after it happened, and I was hearing that there were even fellow game devs that were offering to front the money that the person made the fraudulent claim on.
Yeah, that was quite insane. I mean, we had big profile developers that were promoting our Kickstarter campaign, and were even backing our Kickstarter campaign, and so that was really impressive.
Cool.
It's something that you have to see, because we saw sort of the worst of the internet with this guy that played and trolled our first Kickstarter, and then we saw the best of it with all these nice people around us that decided to put a stop to this.
Oh, what a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So nowadays, like, obviously you guys are hard at work. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Not quite sure what happened on that one.
Do you think you'll make it?
Yeah. So I know we had a question in chat, which obviously there's not going to be a real answer to. But they're asking what the ETA is for, like, the launch date or platforms and price points, if you guys have any of that information yet.
Well, some of that information we have. We are targeting to launch at least on PC. We would like to do that by mid of the year. We don't have an exact date yet, but we would like that this is more or less around mid of this 2016. Okay. For Windows, Mac, and Linux. And what we are doing now is the game is currently available on Steam for Kickstarter backers that pledge for alpha access.
Oh, cool.
And also for everybody that pre-orders alpha access right now through our website, they can start playing.
Oh,
as of
that's
now.
awesome!
Right away.
Yeah, right away. And the game will release at a price point of $11.99, if I'm not mistaken, Alejandro. That's
wow.
That's actually the price that we have in the pre-order. That's the idea at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the same.
That's one thing. When David says PC, it's Windows, Mac, and Linux.
Yes, it's all three platforms.
Well, it's a crazy good game for $12.
Yeah, how difficult was it to go with all three platforms like that?
Well,
It was pretty easy for me. Alejandro is doing this magic.
For you, David, it's like, okay, I don't know, I tell Alejandro do the builds and, and the builds are just like that. Well, we are finding some technical difficulties because, of course, even if you use Unity, it doesn't work exactly the same for the three platforms.
Oh yeah.
The graphical engine Unity use behind the scenes is different. One is you can use DirectX, and the others are OpenGL. So with some shaders and some other minor problems we had in the past, or we are facing now in Linux, some also minor bugs with the full screen mode and things like that. But other than that, some problems here and there, it's quite straightforward using Unity.
That's good. Yeah,
it's not like you have the game and you export it for all the platforms. There is always something you have to do native for that platform.
Yeah.
At the specific platform, because the control is not working, or as I said, in Linux the full screen mode is giving us some problems, or some shaders are not doing the right effect in OpenGL, things like that.
I kind of remember. No, what's this? You see this effect that you have when explosions happen. There is kind of a heat wave distortion effect.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. Beautiful.
That was failing at some point in Linux, if I remember correctly.
And Mac as well. Yes.
And Mac as well. Yeah. Oh,
the
you were so close.
And it was only failing in one of the dimensions on the right side. It was even worse. It took me for a while. Yes. It was quite a fun bug there.
The reason why I asked about that is because we talked to a couple devs where they're still fighting over trying to get it to work on other platforms.
It can be tough. It can be really tough.
Maybe it depends on the game made. I don't know. That's guess that's up to them to say.
We are trying to keep the development, let's say, in parallel. So we don't arrive to the end of the development and we find out that I don't know, some core part of the game doesn't work in Mac. So when we do a new build every 2 weeks now, we try to make it for the three platforms, and we check how it works in the three platforms.
Oh, okay.
We actually tested on it, and we try to fix the bugs as they appear.
Interesting. One thing we always ask developers is what your favorite or most hilarious bug was that you guys have found in your game so far.
Well, I will say one.
Okay.
You have seen one of them actually. It's the lasers when they grow up.
Yeah.
They sometimes the collision box goes too fast.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And they hit you before they hit you.
Yep.
You don't see it, but it's there.
Ooh.
We call them, it's not a bug, it's a feature. We call them sneaky lasers.
Yeah, they're called invisible lasers.
Yep, they go faster than light.
You don't see
For
them,
me-
but they're there.
For me, the most hilarious would be one that I think it's fixed in this build that was happening before, and was the percentage destruction. It was happening that we were counting enemies several times when you were dying, so you were getting sometimes destruction percentage 200%, and you were like, wow, I'm super good at this game, I destroyed everything twice.
I killed them all 2 times.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So that was one funny bag for me.
This level really shows off the lighting well, actually. Just
yeah.
off the asteroids, man. It's really cool.
Purity.
Yeah, when you start reaching World 2, we are playing a bit more with the mechanics of the game, adding environment and what we call environmental puzzles, so that you have all sort of these things of asteroids and other stuff around you besides the enemies. And
It makes it a little more.
besides lighting, that is kind of nice. it adds a flavor of puzzle to the gameplay, because now you have to pay attention also where you teleport and when you do it, because sometimes, like here, the path is blocked on the left, so you have to time your jump properly, so
Yeah, cool.
so that you don't crash against the rocks.
Have you made it possible for this game to be beaten via like a pacifist mode where you just don't shoot?
Well, it's in the plans actually. It's it was one of the modes that we advertised when we were doing Kickstarter, and it will be one of the unlockable modes. So our plan is that when you finish the game in normal mode, let's say, you will have also this pacifist mode available to play.
Cool.
And also the one click clear.
Yeah,
So you
also
have
one
to go
click here.
the whole game with only 1 life.
Oh boy.
No.
So that's kind of extreme mode. Yeah.
I think I have to play a lot more.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you're thinking about the people that are way too good at games.
I really enjoy both of those aspects, because you're really catering to a wider audience with that too. Because, like we said, that was nice. Like we said at the beginning of this, is when people hear the word like shmup or shoot 'em up or this type of game, they immediately have a type of game in their head that it's only going to cater to the hardcore because it's going to be a bullet hell type of game. So it's nice to see that you guys have gone so far as to try and, appeal to a wider audience.
I mean, it's obviously a hardcore game. We don't deny that. I mean, I see you guys struggling sometimes with these asteroids now, for example. But yeah, we didn't want to go to that extreme niche where only shoot 'em up fans that have been playing for years can take the first level and go with it. That's something we wanted to depart from. We wanted to start easy, or kind of easy on the first level, so that almost anybody could pick up the game and start playing, and then sort of gradually ramp up the difficulty until the final levels of the game will be insanely hard. But when you arrive there, you should have already trained your way to be able to beat them.
Oh, that's cool.
Or just fluke your way there.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did that, but I did it. I'm not complaining.
Well, you're doing it so far.
Also, we have these 2 modes, arcade and modern. You
Yeah,
have in the modern mode, you have shields. So instead of 1 hit, you get 4 hits.
Oh.
So also for newcomers or people are not used to play this kind of games, will be a bit more easier to play.
Yeah. I think you are
Usually
playing
it's
now.
1 hit and you die.
Yeah. Now
We're in
this is
normal.
they are
Yeah.
normal now. They are playing arcade now. So
Yes.
yeah. But if some people play in modern where you have an extra shield around you with that protects you against 4 hits.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But only a bullet hits. If you land on top of a rock, you still die.
Yeah, that's
There is
would-
no...
That's
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
the you deserve that death.
Exactly.
yeah. It's
Telefrag.
I mean, the game is a science fiction, but that would be magic, you know.
Yeah.
The shield that protects you inside an asteroid.
Ooh.
Jeez, oh.
Nope.
You are
Nope.
trapped. Okay.
Snap. I love this.
You having a good go with it?
Yeah.
I'm sure you're doing way better than I ever would.
Yeah.
Oh, I still remember the days of Ikaruga. That
I had that on the GameCube.
I actually have that game currently for a Japanese GameCube, so I can't play it.
Really?
Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah, I know. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
That's what you get for having a friend that's been to Japan. He'll get you games that you can't play.
Sweet.
Yeah, I was actually last year there, and I was tempted to buy some games over there. But then David reminded me, watch out because maybe you are not able
Don't buy.
Yeah.
Because I actually saw Ikaruga, the GameCube version, and it was awesome and wasn't that expensive at the end. And but in a good move, I decided not to buy it. Have been
Because you were
useless here in Europe.
and it looked really good on the shelf.
Yeah,
Exactly, it was really nice there, and
yeah, it looks really, really good. Just sort of hanging out on my shelf with all
Oh,
the
yeah.
other games.
it's like I know I have it. You see, I have it
Yeah,
here.
that's it. That's pretty much it. He's like, I got this game. Can't really do anything about it, but hey, I got it.
Oh man. Oh man.
So as of now, how long has the game been in development for?
We sort of started real development. I think was like in January last year, no, Alejandro, or December the year before.
Yeah, we were, let's say, prototyping for a year before that.
Yes.
Let's say in a more slow or not as crazy as now pace. And we rebooted everything in the beginning of last year. And yes, I will say 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, production
That's
has
really
been since January 2015. Yeah.
Yes.
Jeez.
With all the 2 Kickstarter in the middle and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good for the amount of polish on that in such a short time.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you, guys.
And when did you? Okay, so when was the Kickstarter? The first Kickstarter. When did that start?
I remember it in the summer.
Yeah, September.
It was in April, and
Oh, okay.
it ended around May.
Okay.
And then we launched the second one, and it was finalized in,
June.
I think, early June, right?
Well, I would say mid-June, but yes, more or less.
Mid-June, yeah.
I think the 18th, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah.
Yeah, so, well, like when we first saw it, it still looked really good. It just, there weren't very many levels. So, you guys have accomplished a lot in the time that you've been
Yeah.
working.
Now what happens to us is we look at what we had there, and we say, "Holy, that was kind of crappy." Honest. I mean, we are honest with ourselves. I mean, it was impressive that we managed to pull off in like a couple of months to prepare for Kickstarter. But now you compare what we have now in this alpha with the what you see in the video there. And sometimes I wonder. I mean, how the hell did we manage to pull off a Kickstarter? So yeah, no, it's nice. We have a good team of artists. Max Hyder is the lead artist on the game, and he's doing really well with the vision that we had for it. And then you have to consider that this is not even finished. I mean, here you see this environment with asteroids, and you've seen a couple of levels already like this. And it gets a bit kind of a bit of repetitive, right? So So we will improve that. We will add more props and more variation to the environment, and so this is not yet final. This still has to improve.
We think that with the improvements we are planning for the near future, in a couple of months we will look back and we'll say, okay, holy shit, that was crap.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Right. That's the plan.
Yeah, that's our plan. That in a couple of months we can look back and say exactly the same as we are saying from about the Kickstarter build.
Can't wait to launch, and you guys are like, wow, I can't believe we built that crap.
Let's go for another one.
Yeah.
But in a way, it's nice to have the game available almost since the start, because we had the feedback of the community that way. Even if it was in an unpolished state, gameplay was already there, and people could pick it up and say, "Hey, this is fun. I like this. I don't like that." And they were kind of helping us improve on the game, and this is really useful still now, especially now that we have the alpha in Steam, and we update in this 2-week cycle. It's very useful for us because we receive lots of feedback and back reports, and so from one build to the next we can really improve. Otherwise, catching all of that just by ourselves would be a gigantic amount of work. Not only developing but testing.
That's something I find that a lot of developers are actually starting to get into as well. Is it's really easy to get user feedback that way, or like playtesting in the more traditional sense, is if you kind of lean on your community, especially for the indies.
Yeah, and you see that what we saw is that we had sort of a core of really dedicated fans, people that has put more hours into the game in Steam than even ourselves have put there.
Wow.
And that was quite impressive. And we see people that we release the updates to the Steam builds and in the middle of the night, and 3 hours later we have feedback on the Steam forum, and it's like, did you manage to play it already? I mean, we spent 2 weeks doing this, man. Give us a break.
So we usually release them on Sunday, let's say evening, or late evening here in Europe, and when we wake up on the next day, we already have some feedback, and that's amazing. To be honest, that's amazing.
That just shows devotion. Oh,
I was avoiding that one.
it just shows the devotion to your fan. Of your fan base is amazing.
As a developer, it feels a bit like Christmas presents. I mean, you release during the night, you go to sleep, and you wake up in the morning and, hey, you got presents. Steam forums are live. So all sorts of feedback.
I'm probably going to use that actually going forward in the show from now on. Is that, well, I've met a developer that thinks that bug reports are pretty much Christmas presents. So.
Maybe when we are in a release state, that would not be the case. But now that we are still in development and we are in alpha, they are Christmas presents.
When we release, it will be more like a.
Sorry. Oh hell! Please no. We don't.
Sorry guys. Sorry about that. We expect to have a really polished product. And quite, let's say, strong about that. Mm-hmm. I've been doing software development for quite a long time now, and let's say we'll try to keep it as back-free as we can.
We've been able to even see the difference since the last time we played it. So the polish has definitely gone well. Mm-hmm. Oh man! Sometimes my brain disconnects about what I actually need to do here. It's kind of surprising.
It is very.
This level actually is the first level where we are giving you options. So you have some places where you can take 2 different paths, and picking one means missing on the other.
Yeah.
So that's maybe where your brain is playing tricks with you in the sense that you think you want to reach everything, and it's not possible. It's simply not possible.
And I'm definitely getting some cognitive dissonance.
You have to decide which path you like.
Or just teleport me rock.
Yeah, I know. I think my problem is that your brain sometimes can only focus on one thing at a time, and especially with a game where you're focusing on dodge the lasers, dodge the rocks, dodge the projectiles, and then find a way to realize that you still have to dodge everything else on the other side.
Also, I did this level for the last alpha, so that was released last Sunday, and I have to say that the level design in this one I had to tweak this week several things, like the area that you are now. These walls of asteroids on the left are moving back and forth a bit slowly, so I had to increase the speed. Otherwise you are a bit trapped when you go to the right, like you are now. Sometimes you have to wait too much for the other for the asteroids on the other side to move about and be able to come back in. So this will be changed, and I sort of tweak other areas.
It's
And
fun.
this was all thanks to players. The next day, that after we released this last Sunday, they were like, "Hey, in that area where you have these walls moving around, maybe if you move the one on the left faster, then it will be able to cross back."
That's the thing. We play the game so many times that sometimes our way of playing is a little bit. How do you say it?
Yeah, you go almost on autopilot. I mean, I remember one time that we were about to demo in a conference here in the Netherlands, and I was playing the game, and I was like, okay, it's all good, perfect, and I was about to call it a day and say, okay, we have a build that is back free for a solid for the conference and for the show tomorrow, and then I gave it to my wife for a second. Hey, play it. Let's see how it goes. And then we noticed you didn't collide with anything. If you touched the asteroids, you just were going through them, but you were not dying. If you touched bullets, you were not dying. And then I realized, oh wait, when I was testing it, I never died. I never touched anything. And then we realized it was a silly mistake that we had all the collisions disabled.
That's kind of
for
funny.
the testing purposes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
The fun factor is really high in this game. Like I could.
By the way, in this level, you have a new ability. If you press left bumper and keep it hold.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
You have what we call inverse drive, so you can shoot back and
Slow down a little bit.
slow down a little bit the speed. And this helps you playing against enemies, but it also helps you when you have these green switches that you've seen over there. Sometimes they are very hard to reach, so the only way to reach them is to turn back around and fire at them.
Yeah, I noticed like picking that one pickup up. Oh, okay.
Whoa!
Like mode.
That was close.
Yeah, I'm watching it. It's making me hold my breath.
The fun factor is really high though in that, like when I die or get a game over and have to restart the level, I feel like it was totally my fault and I can't wait to try it again.
Yep.
Which is a hard balance I find if you're making a game that's going to be difficult or if you want to increase the difficulty curve.
Yeah.
That's the difference between a challenging game and a rage game.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to do a rage game. We want to do one of these games where when you die, you feel
almost a rage game, right, David?
Yeah. Just to find that balance.
To that point where you are playing and you are always saying this sentence of just one more run.
Yeah.
One more time, and I sure I can pull it off.
Yeah, it's more like, oh, I can't believe I did that. Oh, I can fix it this time.
Like what just happened there. Teleport into a bullet.
So besides the the whole Kickstarter fiasco, what has been one of the more difficult objectives to overcome making the game?
I'm gonna get that shield.
In terms of development, I guess you mean what has been the most difficult thing for us?
Yes.
I would say I would not say a technical aspect in itself, but more the work-life balance. You can imagine doing this kind of game in a professional way while we are working during the day full time. We have families, we have children. It's really something taxing, and it's not only on us. It's also on our families that are almost part of the development team, because without their blessing and without their help, we couldn't be doing this thing. Because it's an insane amount of hours that we are working every day. I mean, we work around 8 hours in our job, and then 4 or 5 every night on the game, and then come the weekend, and it's full-time development on the weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, that's...
And we wake up like at 3 a.m. in the morning.
To attend shows like this.
Today.
Yeah.
Wait,
Thank
did you
you
guys
for
wake
being
up for
here.
this, or did you stay up for it?
No, they woke up for
You
this.
woke up for it.
At least I know David did.
Yeah.
I did woke up, yes.
Yeah, most people will stay up, and we always ask, what are you currently drinking? And it's usually some form of whiskey.
Yeah. Whiskey and caffeine.
Yeah. So coming back to what you said about the difficulty that it makes you want to play it again, even when you die, you feel like it's your own mistakes.
Yes.
What we did also is we departed from the formula that normally shoot 'em ups have, that when you die you just respawn, but the level keeps on going and you are invincible for a while. And instead of that, we placed checkpoints, as you can see, and that was really intentional, and it was our way to even go a bit further with this idea of, okay, one more time, because when you die, you see where you died, and you see what you did wrong. So we bring you back so that you have to do it again, and until you manage to cross that area without dying, you are not able to continue on the game. And in some other shoot 'em ups, you can do what normally it's called credit feeding. So basically, even if you die, you can just keep adding continues, and you will eventually finish the game just credit feeding.
Yeah.
Actually, we had a big discussion about that, because David really had to sell me this point, because technically it's more difficult to do the checkpoints.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing, like the 120% destruction percentage that we had in the past, and some other bugs. So when he told me the first time, I said no. But he really insisted on that one. I said, okay, let's go for it. So technically, actually, it's more difficult for us to do these checkpoint points.
But I knew you were able to pull it off. I know you could.
I can attest to it. I have made that connection of a couple times in here when we've been playing tonight, where I'm like, oh shit, I need to shoot like this gun first before I switch over.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see how that benefits the game.
No, definitely. I agree with you guys and with David now. But the first time when he proposed it, it's difficult to imagine why he wants to do the checkpoints. But now it's right. You really need to complete the level in order to go through.
How do you guys come to like group decisions like that? Because I assume you all have very different expertise.
Yes, I mean, we are both from a technical background, but what we mostly do is we discuss everything, but when it comes to technical decisions, almost every time Alejandro has a saying, let's say, if he says this is the way we're going to do it, in the end I say, okay, you take the decision, because I know he has more expertise on that. And when it comes to game design, it's mostly on me. But we sort of brainstorm everything, and not only between us, but also with the rest of the team. We are also involving the rest of the artists and even the musicians in how we implement things and how we go about game design and level design, because we're a small group, so everybody does everything in a way.
That's actually the musicians is another one I wanted to touch on, because I was going to ask if who does the music and if you guys are going to be selling the soundtrack separately.
Yeah, the music is done by Jose Mora. You can look it up in our website. You have the full team. You can check in the team tab actually, and so Jose Mora is doing the music, and Daniel Polman is doing the sound effects. And yes, the soundtrack will be available as a separate purchase on Steam when we launch, and it was available also for our Kickstarter backers. So some people pledged for it actually.
Yeah, I love soundtracks.
Damn it!
And then it will be up to Jose to decide if he wants to sell the soundtrack somewhere else outside of Steam. Maybe he decides to sell it on iTunes or Bandcamp or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I just find it's very, it's almost like a symbiotic relationship I find between devs and musicians, in that you're both creatives of very, very different things. So we always hear like, oh yeah, I want him to be able to sell it wherever he wants, because it's something that he's created. It's kind of interesting.
But it's also nice.
Yeah,
that
I mean that's how it goes, I think, and it's fair. I mean, he's doing the music for the game, and obviously he's getting paid for this job. But if he managed to make more profit out of it later on, selling the soundtrack somewhere else, it's good for him, and it's actually good for us, because it's also publicity for the game. People may actually get to know about the game by just listening to the soundtrack somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a very smart and mature way to go about it.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to soundtrack, did you just say, give him an idea of what you wanted to hear, and then he had full creative control, or did you kind of work through it with him?
It was sort of the other way around. He has access, obviously, to playing the game as we develop it, and we explained him what sort of game it was, and what sort of mechanics, and what sort of levels we wanted to do, and then he started proposing ideas of, okay, so I would do it this way, I would do it that other way, and then he was sending us like short samples,
Yeah.
and then telling us to decide, do you prefer it this way, do you prefer it that way, or what kind of music. And once we chose kind of a bass or a style of music, I would say, yeah. Once we chose a style of music, then he's sort of free roaming, I would say. I mean, he makes tracks, and we just say, awesome, next one.
No,
I mean, he's
he's level, and he knows what is actually going on this level. So
yeah.
I would say he's really catching what we want to, of the story about that level, what is going on in the main game story, why you are there, and I think really Jose is capturing that feeling, or that idea.
Yeah, he when he discusses about this, he sort of made like 3 different styles for the levels, because we have levels where you have more shooting areas, like the levels that you were playing before. So it's only about shooting, and those have a music that is more for. It goes more with that kind of level, and then for these levels with environment and puzzles, he made sort of music that is more for as if you were inside a maze, or a labyrinth.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's what he wanted to go for, while keeping the same style, but with a bit of variation. And then for bosses, he wants to take a mix of both things, if I remember correctly, and make it really like you have a feeling of urgency, of a critical situation. Mm-hmm. I think actually you can hear some of the samples of these tracks in his SoundCloud.
Oh, cool.
I'm getting a really strong Tron Legacy score going on here.
Yeah.
And I really like that album too. So hearing this is just it's delightful to my brains.
Well, I will say to him, he'll be happy to hear.
I don't know if I told you that, but the game Hyphen, that was when they were making that game, the sound came last, and they made the entire game while listening to the
Yeah.
Tron Legacy soundtrack.
Yeah.
They actually asked Disney if they could use it. They did not get it to use it though.
Yeah, it seems
I can imagine.
we're that close though.
Oh yeah.
So it is 8.
Oh crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Want to see if you can just get past this spot?
Sure.
All right,
See
we'll
if we can
just
get past this level.
see if we can get past this.
Just one more life.
Yeah, just one more left. Just one more playthrough. Just one more quarter.
Yeah.
Mom, can I have one more quarter?
I was always that kid for sure.
Well, at least you don't have to feed in quarters this time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you're.
But I think that's a nice analogy because it's in the end it's sort of this feeling that we wanted to achieve. Where even if you were feeding quarters, you would still do it and go for the next one.
You've lost your edge.
Jeez, what are you doing there?
No,
You used to be a great pilot.
they're right though. Probably comment on what they're saying rather than what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah, if this is a compliment, what? Oh. I think this would work great as an arcade cabinet.
Yeah, well, we saw that one on the Kickstarter watch.
Yeah, there's a Kickstarter that had a home arcade cabinet.
Nice.
Is that what it was
That would
called?
be awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, if
that would have been
If you had a
crazy.
spare $2,400, it was yours.
Good lord. So that's going to be our first hour already done. That was quick.
Jeez.
I wanted to say thank you so much, guys, for joining us. So it was nice to see how far Dimension Drive has come since the last time you've been on the show.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah.
And like I was saying in the emails, we can't wait to have you back whenever you want.
Yeah, definitely, especially since you're updating every 2 weeks.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think as we were saying, in a couple of months, we think we will have something that will look radically different to what you have in your hands now. So maybe that's a good time to sort of jump again in your stream. Thank you for the offer.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. Alrighty, and I guess stay tuned because in the next couple minutes here we're going to be playing Crumple.
And we're going to be talking about Kinship with Nascent Games.
Cool. All right.
Yep.
And thank you so much again, guys, and we will talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
And we will be right back. All right. And we should hopefully be back. Maybe.
Are we back?
Awesome. Looks like we got Crumple.
Yeah.
So we just need to get in touch with the head.
Gabriel. Try to see if we can find him. Just push cables. Oh, he's adding us right now, just in case.
Ah, there we go.
We thought we had him. It's one of those days.
All right.
So this one is interesting because it's on Newgrounds, and as I was saying before, Newgrounds is kind of like almost I'd say it's the first place where I ever played any Flash games. So there's that. And I have a lot of memories of Newgrounds. I used to be actually a part of it. Used to watch.
And if you want to play the game, I just linked it in the chat as well.
Yeah, I used to be a part of the Newgrounds scene, and I would, do the voting and.
Yeah. Well, I haven't heard back from the developer yet, so let's try playing it, I guess.
So you are a piece of paper.
And we've had Crumple on the show before.
We have?
Yep. In a much earlier version of this. You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Yep.
Where was I?
I have no idea, buddy. That or I did a piece on Crumple for IGEM.
Might have done a piece on it.
I'm sure we've had them though.
I know we've talked to Nascent Games before. Astro Kitty freaking loves Newgrounds.
Yeah, I mean, Newgrounds has been a big part of my life. Or it used to be in like junior high and a little bit of high school. I can't get over this. A lot of people don't know this about me. I suck at platformers.
Except for
Super Meat Boy.
Except for Super Meat Boy, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of
There
weird.
you go.
I don't know if you know that, but it's kind of weird.
I know. I'm a weird guy. So tell us about Crumple.
Want me to tell you about Crumple?
Yeah.
Oh boy. From looks like you're a piece of paper and you're trying to make it through a futuristic dystopian world that hates paper.
Awesome. What were your inspirations?
Well, I've always wanted to make games in Newground.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Started with, Zhao Zhao.
Oh, yes, I know Zhao Zhao. I don't know
also-
Zhao Zhao. Oh. Why did you make the game so difficult?
Because I hate you.
Oh, but it only seems to be difficult for me. Oh.
Maybe because you have to jump on things. Whee!
I'm understanding. Yay, I made it! One moment. Okay. So we have Gabe. We have the developer of Nation Games about to get on the line. He just needs a moment to get ready, I think.
Yep.
So,
oh, wait, we're in a paper mill.
No, we're at Dunder Mifflin.
That's why he hates paper so much?
Yeah. The place is finally coming down. I just finished watching The Office.
Uh-huh.
I watched it like when it was airing, and I stopped when it was season 8, at the end of season 8. So like I didn't see the last season. Whoa!
Oh.
It just hit Netflix, and oh my god, it was so good. It was so good.
What does that say there?
Question.
Look on the bigger screen.
Oh yeah, we have a bigger screen. No, that's not going to help us. Oh, hi Jesse, hi Astro Kitty. Hiya.
Hi, Arcanine.
Huh? Hi Thor.
Yorkie.
Okay. Alrighty.
Let us do it to it.
Oh god. Oh! I burned. Hello.
Good evening.
Hey, we got video too.
We got video.
I'll get that set up. How's it going, sir?
Good man. You're doing good. Doing good. It's a long day at work today, but we're home.
I hear you.
So is game.
My camera's kind of at an angle. That's just how my setup is on my desk. So
Oh no, I get you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just get to see some of my game collection back there. So
Totally. That's definitely why I set up the geek wall behind me.
Yeah. We got our fantastic pictures and nerd swag right here, and we even have our cups decked out with Michael Bay. Don't you love Michael Bay, Nick? Michael Bay.
Oh, the Transformers stuff?
Michael Bay.
Well, we talked about that at the podcast this week. About the two forces of good and evil.
Yeah, the
Of my
light side,
childhood.
the dark side
Yeah.
of movie making. Oh yeah, nostalgic movie making.
So, we already started playing Crumple a little bit, but would you mind giving us a quick synopsis about it, Gabriel?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So for Crumple, Crumple is essentially, well, the rule. Put it in one sentence. So in one sentence, Crumple is a 2D puzzle platformer, which is about an envelope named Envy that wakes up in a burning paper factory and it has to escape.
That's really sad for Envy. So it's not at Dunder Mifflin. So we were under the assumption that we were at Dunder Mifflin.
Yeah, no. This is not sponsored by Dunder Mifflin. It should, but it's not. That would be incredible, though. That would be incredible.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I have a limited amount of jumps.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is a really interesting platforming game. What was kind of the inspiration behind this?
So funny enough. So it started when I worked at I had a job. Funny enough, at an envelope manufacturing plant.
Oh.
And so I was. It's even to this day I can't believe this even happened. I think it was. That's why I had that job. So I was an HR administrator there at this manufacturing plant. And every time I would walk out onto the plant floor, there would be these huge freight racks. So you would hear these loud machines, and for me, it felt alive. And I'm weird like that. But anyway, so like it just felt alive. It wasn't like quiet or anything. So I would hear these machines going, and it was like, this huge warehouse. And then I would look at these huge freight racks where they would stack all the freight and stock and everything.
Oh,
And on these freight racks, you would see these huge signs that would say, "Please do not stand in between, jump in between, or climb these freight racks, or else you're going to die and go get sent to hell." So I mean, things like. I'm sure the sign said something like that. But I was like, but all I wanted to do was play on the freaking freight racks. I was like, I just want to play on these things. I'm like, what do we do about it? So, so of course, that's my inner child screaming that, I want to play. So I was like, well, after about a month or so working, because I worked there for about a year and a half or so, after about a month or two of working there, I just kind of said, well, wait a minute. Maybe there's a reason I'm freaking out about this, and I was already working on Kinship, so the game developer mindset was in place. But it wasn't entirely there. So I kind of stopped one day. I said, well, wait a minute, maybe you're freaking out because maybe there's something here. Maybe there's an idea and you just don't realize it. So I walked out again. I went out there a lot, so I would walk out there, and I started kind of walking around those areas now, and I was like, oh my god, I think I can do something with this. So kind of started whipping up a little concept, a little game design doc, and all of a sudden I'm like, well, I think I've actually laid out in a small environment for a game idea. I'm like, well, who's the character going to be? And then I'm like, well, Gabriel, hello, you're in an envelope plan. Make an envelope. How do you bring an envelope to life? And all of a sudden, I looked at one envelope that had a window. So that had just like the one singular window on it. And I just kind of stood it up and looked at it and I said, well, wait a minute, that could be an eye. So I said, well, what if we copy another one? And bam, I'm like, oh my god, I have my character. And that was it. And then Envy came to mind. I was like, that's what I'm going to name it. And bam.
Cool.
The rest is history. So, yeah.
So I guess the big question is, why did you choose the platform of Newgrounds for the game?
Oh yeah, that's a good answer.
Funny enough, Newgrounds wasn't actually first. Desura was first. Desura was yeah, I know. But at the time they stepped up to me, they were still in this big rebuilding phase. They just got bought out by Juju, whatever. So they approached me at GDC, and they were like, "Hey, look, let's talk. We'd love to connect." So connected with them. And they were actually the platform that supported me and got the demo on there. And I personally, I loved the interface. Everything was right there. Everything was easy to understand, and I was doing it. So Newgrounds actually turned out to be my third place that I posted the demo on, because the second place was on Itch. So I put the demo. The second site was on Itch.io. Put it on there. Hit or miss, with people downloading it. But it was Newgrounds that I was kind of afraid of, because people are weird on there, and you know what I'm saying here. Like, I'm a nerd. When nerds say other nerds are weird, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Something. There's a disturbance in the force. So I'm like, when I took my chance. And I said, well, here's what I'm going to do. I was like, I'm just, it's a demo. Gabriel, just do it. Just try. And because, they're in some cases more critical. And half the time it's actually useful criticism. So I said, I'm ready. I can take it. I'm a man. I won't cry much. And, we'll take it from there. So next thing I realized, posted it on there. And Newgrounds retweeted it, put messages out about it. I started getting, I've gotten nothing but strong feedback. Although not a ton that I would like, the feedback I've gotten has been wonderful. And I'm like, okay, this was even better than Desura, because Desura had good commentary. But holy crap, Newgrounds, the place I was nervous about the most, like I'm even nervous about Steam compared to Newgrounds, and it's like, but the feedback I got on Newgrounds was just absolutely terrific, and like some people actually got where I was going with it, and that meant a lot to me, because like, holy crap, you actually see the nuances of the game. Where it was coming from and where it was trying to go. They saw the progression of the difficulty. There wasn't a criticism over the fact that, God, this game doesn't really hold your hand, even though it looks so cute and it looks so adorable. Like, it doesn't hold your hand. And gamers, some gamers today, that's almost a blessing or a curse, because it's like, oh my God, I want to know everything, how to do this now, and it's like, well, damn it. But I'm from the generation of, we figured it out, and you hope for the best. I mean, granted, we had 2 buttons, but Crumple is 4 arrows and a space bar, so I mean, like, I can't give you much else. So, so balancing that was tough. But yeah, so Newgrounds, and Itch and Desura, with respect to all of them, I mean, it's been really good. I mean, and just showing it off locally at my events here, it's been really good. It's been really, really good.
Interesting. So there you have it. What is it? Newgrounds over to Zero. We'll take that as the quote for this hour.
Yeah, yeah. I remember my time on Newgrounds, and I actually found it to be like really almost professional, where people give you a lot of really good criticism if you asked for it.
Yeah, and that's what I did. Like, that's what I had to. Like, I'm like, look, and I think that was maybe that disclaimer of mine on my profile helped, because I was like, look, if you're gonna give criticism, please, for the love of God, make it constructive, because if you give me some wildly over dramatized, type of criticism, I'm gonna give you the most robotic response ever. Like, thank you for
only one button.
it's like the space bar is not big enough for my hands. I can't tell you with that. What do I tell you on that? Like, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, so thankfully, my fears were quelled a bit, and I think the disclaimer that I put on there helps, because it's like, look, if you're gonna give me feedback, I can take feedback, but damn it, make it good, because I'm gonna laugh at you, because I'm not stupid to this. It's like, I'm not stupid to. I'm not gonna whine and bitch if someone. It's like, I don't. I mean, granted, I showed it. So I showed the game off. In the criticism, I showed the game off at Indiecade, in Los Angeles just this past October, and very fortunate to have been able to show it off there at all. And this one bit of criticism that I got, it blew me away. Like not good, but like, what the hell is wrong with people? And like, I guess I should respect the fact that he actually said it to me in my face rather than internet comments. So it's like, so I guess I have to give him the respect for that. But he said something along the lines of, well, when he dies, the animation takes too long. He's like, is there any way to skip that? I'm like, the death animation takes maybe 3 seconds. If it caught fire, and you want to see the paper catch fire and see what happens to it, because funny enough, and this is the weirdest thing. This is funny because, and I've actually gotten this reaction from a lot of the female viewers and females who've played my game. They see Envy, they think it's painfully adorable. Oh my God, it's so cute, it's so cute. But then it dies, and they're like, wow, that was cool. And they're like, kill him again. I'm like, you are ruthless. And I'm like, wow. So like, the death animations was like a big draw. But this guy was like, I think the death animation takes too long. You need to cut that and find a way to skip that. Like,
well, when you make a cocktail of speed and crack, life can feel a lot slower.
I'm like, okay, you tell me a game that skips death. Like not even Halo does that. Even Halo, you have to wait sometimes 30 seconds to respawn.
Yeah.
You can't.
I know you should tell them what you should do is that you should put into the game, if you want to skip the death scene, death animation, press spacebar twice, escape, and then press space again.
Yeah, totally.
And by that time, in your head, you'll have figured out some secret code that really is. Well done. I like
one small attention to detail that I like is how much easier it is to crumple the paper by pushing down than it is to smooth it out by pushing back up. It's cool.
Thank you. And you know what? I love you guys. I love that, because it's that attention to detail that, as a game developer, we hope someone will see that. We hope someone will catch that. And I'm so happy you said that, because it's funny, because originally there were a lot more frames of animation on that uncrumpling, if you will. And I was kind of going back and forth with my programmer, like, I feel like it's taking too long to uncrumple, considering every section is burning, and you are on this certain timer with every section. So he was like, well, we don't want to make this sloppy cut and paste animation. He's like, so balancing that out was very important, for me. I was like, listen, let's because it's easy. Because my argument was tapping down to crumple twice is what did it. Now, but tapping up twice wasn't going to uncrumple that quickly. You had to do it a few times. So of course, there's this balancing thing of what's an appropriate amount of presses on the up arrow before the player just breaks its keyboard in half. It's like unbalanced and throws it on the wall and and types a blog on Tumblr about it. So like how much are we? How much is that? So thankfully, there's been no complaints on that, thank God. So I appreciate you saying that, because that took a little while to fine tune. Because at first I liked how it uncrumpled, the smoothness of the uncrumpling, but I felt like it may have been a little bit of an unnecessary graphic detail, considering it would have affected the pacing of what you have to do in every section. So thank you for that.
No, of course. I think when you're making a game like this where so much of your focus is on one element being like paper, it's really important to kind of cater to that. And I mean, you do that a lot with your double jumps and everything too, and the slides, because it's paper sliding on the ground, right? So you have a lot of attention to detail of what are the properties that this main protagonist would have.
Right. Yeah, and that's just it. Figuring, this. That was a whole other thing too. Like, what did we want this envelope to do? So so of course I took what paper would do when you mess around with it, or whatever the case may be. Which is so weird to say that today in 2016, because it's like, you just don't. It's a dying thing, and I think that's kind of, another reason I wanted to make this game, because it was like, that, there's kind of additional meanings to that, but I'll keep it at that. But with trying to give it sort of abilities, that was the whole other thing too with it. It's like, do I give Envy abilities? Like, it's paper. I'm not trying to exaggerate it too much. It's like I didn't want to make it over flashy. So it's like, what can paper realistically do anyway, and how do we apply that, in the game itself? So what you've been able to see it do is just some of what will happen in the episode. And I kind of segue into the episode aspect of it, because what you've played on Newgrounds is just the demo for episode 1. The portion that you played is just half the I should even say half the episode, is maybe a third of the episode. There's so much more after that that happens, that I'll be we'll be talking about that more on the release of that soon enough. But the game is going to be released in 3 episodes, so each new episode I'm going to give it new things to do. Like, it's going to have certain new, I say abilities loosely, because it's not going to have like power-ups or anything like that. It's just going to suddenly be able to do this.
Please tell me that there's going to be the ability to make paper airplanes.
Of course.
Oh,
of course. Now, see, I love that, because that's been one of the most requested things. Like, it's got to become a paper airplane, and it's like, well, of course, So I'm like, but the fun part about this discussion is not that I'm not worried about revealing what it could do, is how it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That no one's ready for. Only I know that, and I'm telling you, I'm not that type of person, bragging, arrogant type of person. But I'm telling you, when I came up with when it happens and when that paper airplane thing happens and why it happens, I get goosebumps, and I just like, oh my god, no one's ready for that. So so yeah, that'll be. Oh yeah, because it wasn't originally in my game design plan. I had thought of it, but again, for me it's application and implementation. It's cool. The idea is cool, but how do I make it catchy? But not in a way that. However many other paper games, I don't really think there are that many, but that have done it, and whoever did it, what did they do? And what I'm doing is not at all what anyone's done before, and I just can't wait. So thank you for asking that. You may not see it in episode 1, but you will see it in either 2 or 3. But
so what are the next steps with the game? Like, you have it on Newgrounds, you tried it with Desert, you have it on Itch. Are you going to be trying crowdfunding, or did you try crowdfunding?
So, okay, so I come from a kind of weird mentality of not traveling, traveling on the path, the path less traveled. I can't even speak tonight. So it's the path less traveled for me. It's kind of the mindset I've always been in. The crowdfunding aspect of it, I thought about it. I laid out a whole Kickstarter thing and what the rewards would be, and, so on and so forth. But that was 2 years ago that I did that, 2 or 3 years ago. And then I kind of looked at it and I was like, I don't know how comfortable I am with this. And then just another part of me was like, if I can't do this on my own, and the thought of, and I know some people, if there's anyone watching, listening, that is like pro Kickstarter, I'm sorry what I'm about to say, because it may hurt some feelings, but I mean, or developers who've tried to do Kickstarter, or Indiegogo as well. I haven't entirely ruled it out, but my belief is that if I'm going to ask for 10 grand, so let's just lowball it. If I'm going to ask for 10 grand, then, and say I get 30 or say I get 40 of it, I don't want that to go to apparel. I don't want that to go to legal fees. I don't want that to go to other, accessories, paraphernalia, whatever the case may be, that I have to make and pay for. I want that to go to my damn team. I want that to go to my team. They work their tail off, and like no one's funding this. And so I was like, if I'm going to ask for that kind of money, then the kind of Kickstarter I'm going to do is I'm asking for 10 grand so you can pay my team. I'm not comfortable with that. So I don't think, though the benefits, I've seen the benefits of it, you're building your fan base, you're building, awareness. And there's never anything wrong with that. But I think it's, I think it's a Kickstarter and those things like that creates sort of a misconception because it's popularity through vanity, not anything else. And that is probably what I'm saying right now is probably a dangerous statement, but that's just how I see it. Like, I want to earn the fan base. Yes, I want to get that word out there. But how many people are really giving a damn about my stuff? It's a vanity thing, and I'm not about that. Like, if I'm going to do that, I would rather go the Indiegogo route, because God forbid something happens, like say I don't get money or anything like that, and I have to give it all back to people. I don't want to have to. I've seen, the amount of distrust on Kickstarter, and I mean, I won't even say Indiegogo. You haven't heard too many things about that, but Kickstarter, yeah, I just don't. I'm not entirely comfortable with that. I mean, again, I haven't entirely ruled it out. I'm just not so sure. I would rather, try to get like a publisher with Nintendo or something like that, and say, help me, and see what we can do from that. But anyway, that's my long-winded answer.
No, that's cool.
Actually, the next question I have is, so you mentioned that you were at the Global Game Jam. What were you doing there?
Yeah, so for those who may not know what the Global Game Jam is, so the Global Game Jam is an annual event that brings essentially the entire world together, and in this particular case, 90 plus countries, 93 countries, all working on this theme that's presented to us by the Global Game Jam organization, which in this particular case, the theme was ritual. And the idea was you have the 3-day weekend to create some type of prototype, some type of working demo or something based off that theme. So one of the things I do here in the community here in Sacramento is I'm the founder and the chair for IGDA, International Game Developers Association, and I founded and chair the Sacramento chapter as of 3 years ago, April 15th, 2013. And one of the things, and this was we did Global Game Jam last year. It was much smaller scale, but it was still really great stuff. But this time we collaborated with a huge university, University of California in Davis. And what happens here now is they wanted to partner with us to create a much bigger space and a much bigger level of participation from the community. And we had just that, because last year we had maybe 12 people, and this past weekend, we had, I think, about 55, 60 folks. So I would say that's progress. I would say that's progress. We did really, really well with that. And I was very happy about that. And essentially, myself and my vice chair, we worked together to have to just coordinate all the efforts with the teams. Making the games and giving them feedback. Play testing. I try to give them guidance and direction. And some people were getting extremely frustrated, like, we don't have time. I thought we were gonna have more time, and things like that. And I would tell them, no, you still have it. You gotta breathe. It's gonna be okay. But this is game development. You have to be ready for this sort of thing if you want to take this further in your livelihood. Mm-hmm. So those kinds of things was just made it such an incredible experience this weekend. And yeah, that's essentially what I was doing there, and just working with my vice chair. And we about 11 games were submitted through our event only, which was fantastic in of itself. And they presented last night, and such incredible feedback, and some incredibly great concepts. Someone even created an augmented reality. I'm like, you did an augmented reality?
That's crazy.
In 2 days? I'm like, that's bonkers, man. I'm like, but that's just it. It's like, you're only limited by your own fears or your own strengths, and it's like, and that there were no limits this weekend. These nerds were hardcore this weekend, and it was painfully inspiring. I absolutely loved it. So that's what I was doing this weekend with that. So.
Awesome. Yeah. What were you going to say?
The same, actually. That covers my answer as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How are you enjoying it? You're the kind of the platform king between the two of us.
Not really, though. It's just I never played anything else.
It's so unique. It's a really interesting game.
That means a lot. That really, really means a lot, yeah. And it's funny, too, because the thing about, we talked about the time of, like, how long would Crumple take? How long would episode 1 take? Because there's the whole big debate of, what's a 2-hour game worth? What's an 8-hour game really worth? And I think, entitlement has painful and distorted and misguided entitlement has gotten in the way of what really the value of a game is. So with balancing all that out, when we talked about time and how long a game would go, every episode is going to cost $1 when it does come out. The game I've beaten, I've completed my own game in as quick as 12 minutes, but that took me after about a year of practice in my own game. It's like, if you die in your own game, does that mean you've made a good game, or does that mean you really suck as a game? It's a topic for another day. But it's like, the whole thing was like, but at first it would take me to a good 45 minutes, an hour, and when you're trying to figure out what the hell to do, yeah, it could take a little while. But yeah, there'll be achievements in there, and obviously, and one of the big achievements is, if you beat it under, I think I put it for 10 minutes, I think, or something. If you beat episode 1 in under 10 or 12 minutes or something like that, you'll open up a really, really cool reward. And I'm taking it back to the old school when rewards actually meant something, and you didn't have to pay another $99.95 to buy the DLC to see what really happens. And I'm not doing that. When you beat my game, you're gonna get rewarded, and you don't need, it'll be in game. You don't need to download another file to get it. That's just how I'm going to do it. So I mean, yeah. So
That actually,
yeah.
that is a controversial-ish topic that we touched on. You weren't there. It was with IGM. When 1866 came out, we were talking about like what makes a good amount of time for a game, and it's really the perception of the amount of time. Because it's interesting that people don't have that much problem shelling out $35 for a movie ticket and another $35 for popcorn for something that's going to take 90 minutes of entertainment. Compared to the gripe you get paying $60 for a game that only has 50 hours of entertainment.
Yeah, and I do remember the whole issue with 1886 where it was, 4 hours if you did everything and watched all the cutscenes and whatnot. So I guess, yeah, it's the immersion that
But is that right or wrong?
Yeah, that's the big problem. I guess people expect more game for the game.
But it's unfortunate though, because I mean, like, I'm not one to do the blame game thing, but it's like I think it's everyone's fault in a way with this. Because it's like we want to cater to our people who support our games, but I almost fear that the people, I fear sometimes that the people who quote unquote support our games are really just looking for something wrong in our games and not really enjoying our games. And because let's look at, I mean, my God, I have a big stack. What you see back there, it's all NES cartridges, and there's a ton of them back there. And I'm telling you, one of the best games I enjoy still to this day, Contra and Super Contra. I can blow past those games 20 minutes if that. But I've had one of the greatest experiences of my life because, and what did those games cost back then? $50-$60? The only people complaining were our parents. Like, they were pissed. They're like, I'm paying how much? And it was like, but mom, I got a C in gym class. Help me, So things like that. And, but those games are legendary today, but yet, but if we really look at how long a game like that took to complete it, you spent $50 on a game that maybe took you half hour and maybe an hour, but you played it so much, you kept playing it, and just wanted to keep on playing it. And but today it's like, and I don't know if DLC is to blame for this, because of what you can't have access to, what you can't actually see unless you pay this, what you can't actually do in a game, which is such an extreme for me. As a game developer, I cannot fathom why studios would do that. Like, I can't, other than greed, but no greed. We all want to make money, but I cannot fathom why that level of greed would make it so easy for a studio to be willing to throw the people we're trying to draw in and throw them into essentially the sacrificial pit of death, because it's like, thank you for game testing my, thank you for being a play tester for my game, now paid $19.95 to see what really happens. And I'm like, wow, what has happened here? And I think, but then you have those other players that are just like, well, damn it, $1, all my games are free, and so there's entitlement has just it's just ruined so much. But I think I personally think it's ultimately the responsibility of the game studio to be able to not be afraid and step up and say, look, we need you to trust us that what you're gonna pay, that you paying for this and this, you're going to have a great experience. And but I think studios are so afraid to get this veritable backlash, and I'm like, no, you can't be afraid of that. You can't be afraid of that. I mean, like, does the developer of Dark Souls, do they have mercy on their gamers? They don't. But look how well those games keep doing. Look at the type of people that played those games, and look at how much attention that it's drawn in because of how painfully difficult that game is and how long it could take or how fast you can beat it, because we've seen speed runs of Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 and how fast they would kill a boss without spending 8 hours to level up. They just ran through it, and it's like, holy crap. So many variables, and but again, I just think it's the responsibility of the game developer, where they have to stop being afraid, because the fan base, they're gonna see that, they're gonna see right through that, and it's like, you don't want to piss them off, not like that, piss them off in the game, like, God, this game is so hard, but I'm gonna keep trying. Crumple, the amount of casual gamers, and by casual gamers, I mean those who do not have a collection like this, like don't play games like that, but or don't really play platformers like that. But those, when I've shown my game out, either locally in Sacramento or elsewhere, those have been those casual gamers have been the ones that have pushed through and actually beat my demo, and I'm like, oh my God, that's to me it was mind-blowing. And maybe it shouldn't have been, but I placed a certain expectation because of what's going on out there in the news and what you see about backlashes from fans and stupid petitions drawn up on. I mean, I feel bad for the person that created change.org. He's probably like, no, this is not what I did this site for. I did not make this site for this. I mean, things like that. And, so yeah, I just, it is a controversial topic, and it's just like, it's something, but it's important to talk about because, we're just seeing more and more games coming out. And I mean, the Steam alone. I mean, we've got gamers who, they're not even gamers, they're just collectors of Steam games. That's all they have. They're like, I have 9,000 Steam games, but I've only beaten 10. It's like, but so things are not as what they were before. So it's like, so what in the world do you do? Who do you blame? And I'm like, no, I just think it's the responsibility of the developer. They can't be afraid of their fan base. I just think you get more respect that way.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. We've got about 10 minutes left, and I did want to talk about Kinship for a little bit.
Yes, sir.
But first, I thought it'd be a lot of fun if we kind of showed off the trailer.
Yes, absolutely. If you show them, well, you can. It's funny. There's two trailers. You can show the old one, but then you can show the second one from July of last year and see significant improvements on both things. But yeah, that'd be great.
Sure. Actually, so I've got the old one. If
Yeah.
you find the link in the new one,
Yeah, we'll watch
then we
the
can
old
watch
one
both.
and we'll compare, because we're going off the one that's on your projects list.
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
okay. Yeah, great. Yeah, definitely see. I always recommend seeing both, because the good thing with both is that for the first one, it introduces the main character, but the newer trailer introduces not only a bunch of new gameplay and cutscenes, but it also introduces the bad guy, doing the monologue in that, which is what I'm going to do for the next trailer that we're working on now.
Great.
So the Kinship store
So-
one is the official 2014?
Yeah, official 20. Yeah, from July, I think.
Yes.
July 2014. Yes, that's
Right.
that's the newest one right now. So it's
Okay.
been a while, but it's still, yeah, it's
Okay.
much.
Sounds
So
good.
here is the first one.
So let's say you were given a task to save the world by simply creating this item meant to bring back what death took from us. And let's just say that this creation really did more than it was supposed to. What happens when those who cried out for help suddenly condemn you? What happens when they take away your dreams as a thank you? When you are left with nothing, do you really save those who took it all from you? My name is Alexander, and this is my story.
Crazy. Yeah, no, I get it.
All right, sorry.
That's cool. So, a much more conceptual game, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Kinship is it's funny because that's what I was working on first, but realized this is going to be kind of an ambitious game, even though it's going to be a shmup, but it's going to be a shmup with substance. It's going to have a story. Maybe not to the level and maybe not to the level of Mass Effect, but I mean it's definitely going to have a very cohesive, entertaining story, and Kinship will be a trilogy. So, I have a thing for trilogies. So, because, I don't think I'm cool enough to make that one game that's going to be so awesome. It doesn't need to be a sequel. But, kind of like The Last of Us. But, but I know, Kinship's going to be a trilogy, and I know the story that I'm going to be telling in it, it's going to be very entertaining, because I want the people who may not play shmups like that still be able to look at it and be like, wow, that looks real pretty, that looks really cool, look at all that crap going on, and then all of a sudden they see the story, and you're like, oh, what's this? And then they, and the cutscenes would be told a la old school Ninja Gaiden from the NES, just the way, that game is a legend, in its own right, because of the fact that they were the first ones to create essentially, motion animation, if you will, in an 8-bit system.
Totally.
Like, wow. Yeah.
Totally. Okay. I would also love to see some of the story, though, so we're probably going to end off the stream-ish. We'll watch the video and then just chat about it. How about? Sound good?
Yep, because we got 5 minutes left.
Cool. Okay, this is the story trailer from July of 2014.
There was a time when we owned the world, when society trusted us oh so blindly. We gave birth to security and destruction in one fell swoop. The world needed us. No one else could save their wasted lives like we did. We were an impenetrable legion against timid humanity, our presence bathed in a strength and resilience that no one could overcome, not even the Orphic. But you, Alexander, felt otherwise. The loss of your wife changed you. The execution of your daughter enraged you. I would do it all over again.
That's cool.
Yeah, I actually like the 3D graphics that you used.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. We were taking it there. That's been a bit of a challenge, and that was, it was a bit of a debate for me at first. What did I want to make the game in? Because Kinship is inspired by two of my very favorite shmups of all time, Gradius 3 on the Super Nintendo, as well as Axlay on the Super Nintendo. But both games were 2D, and I was like, well, God, I would love to make an HD version of that. And funny enough, I don't think I've ever told this to anybody before. So you people are special. So I'm about to share this. Kinship wasn't actually supposed to be Kinship. Kinship was originally conceived and intended to be just a simple HD fan remake of Gradius 3.
Oh, crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was like, what? Because I just asked her, because I was playing Gradius 3 one day, and one morning, and I'm just playing the game because I was at that point of my life where I was like, I want to make a game, but I do not know what genre I want to start with. And it was just racking my brain because, the games that I own games of all genres. I'm not just a shooter person or a sports person. And I'm like, well, damn it, where do I even begin? And then I'm just there playing Gradius 3 one morning, and I beat the game, and I'm like, oh my god, this is what I'm going to do. What if we did like an HD fan remake of Gradius 3? I would love to see. I'm like, but Konami would probably be all pissed off or whatever. But then it was like, but then after a little bit of debate, I was like, well, wait a minute, why can't I just do my own? And that's where Kinship came to life from that point.
That's cool.
Cool.
That's really interesting.
So that concludes our show tonight.
Awesome.
That went fast.
Yeah, that flew by.
That's crazy.
It did, actually. It did. It was wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
So thank you very much for being a part of the show. We invite you to come back if you have the game, if you have Kinship ready to play, or if you have
episode 2 of Crumple.
Episode 2 or the
totally.
So yeah, because those look cool, and Crumple was really fun.
Oh, that means a lot, and I really appreciate that very much. Crumple's been a 2-3 person team game. Myself and one or two others, and Kinship has had a few more people in it, because of the bit of ambition behind it. But yeah, the big plans right now before we kind of close this out is Crumple will be episode 1 will be on the PC. And then we're aiming for the Wii U, as well as, hopefully, crossing fingers, the 3DS, and crossing fingers even more, the NX, or whatever the hell the new Nintendo is going to be called.
Oh, cool.
We're hoping and praying and working on making that happen as well. Initially it was just going to be PC only because it was being made in Flash, but you know what? I think I can even share this. Exclusive. Crumple, we are also working on getting it on Amazon Fire TV platform. So
crazy.
That's a thing?
Yep.
So yeah.
Cool.
So we're working on doing that, and there's some really good hope and direction that's going to happen. So stay tuned for that. But because that we're adding these additional platforms, now we're adding a bit of a porting over. and from Flash into what most likely will be Unity. So what you've seen and played in Crumple in Flash now is only going to play so much smoother and nicer if we get this ported over properly, which is so far happening in Unity. And then for Kinship, Kinship will be PC, but it will as well be for the Wii U. And again, crossing fingers, Nintendo NX or whatever the hell it's called, Wii U again, whatever the hell they decide to call it. But yeah, so that's what we're aiming for, and probably future platforms as well after that if things go well. So
cool.
Wonderful.
Alrighty.
Well, thank
you so much, Gabriel. It was a pleasure.
Much love to you guys. I really, really appreciate this.
He said your thing.
I know. That's much love to you too, man. And to everybody else, thank you so much for joining us. And I guess until next time, much love, and we will see you all then.
We'll see you tomorrow too for WSD Radio, WSD Plays,